Hello, hidden gems. I am with I am with a special woman, a special hidden gem herself, Vicky Hoban, Tammy Daybell's aunt. She has been representing her niece Tammy at this trial, and even during this tedious jury selection process. Tedious but interesting, I might say. I think something that's good for the public to hear. And it was a very, very big day. Before we begin, I just want everyone to know I am feeling better. I have not been doing well. I am okay now. I actually decided to go to the quick care today. Finally, it had been about a week of just stuff going on. I'm glad I went. And then I did go back to court. You and I, Vicky, were like ships in the night because I know you were having a harder time this morning with some things, some logistics at home. Um, and so then I just decided I needed to go home and rest. And then I woke up to about 40 texts and huge news about the breaking news, the lead, which
Yep.
is go ahead. Do you want to say it, Vicky?
And a little more so they can start their preempts, I think tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is when they hit 50, I was like, are we done? Are they going to keep going? And they went ahead and finished that group. And then Tom, the juror from,
Evans.
yeah, Tom Evans, I turned around and he goes, we have 52. And I just like teared up and I was like, we have a jury. Like, we have a jury. And that was like, we were worried, of course. You're always worried until like things happen. And yeah, I was so happy. And you could feel the courtroom, though. Everybody was just like happy. Everybody was smiling. The judge had a little smile on his face. So it's like, yeah, we got there. So,
Yeah, I was. And not only did we get to 50, as you point out, we got to 52 or 53. They were like, let's just throw a cherry on top and make this, let's give some alternate possible jurors. So that
yeah.
was really cool to see too. I
Some
know
of
that last,
stoic when they were told that they had made the pool, because they brought that last group in and they said, you're in the pool basically, and you're part of what we're going to be using. And you could see on some people they were like, oh, that's great or whatever. And then you saw some that were like, okay, like, it's a job. It's a big job. I didn't realize it until this week. I'm glad I came, even though it's tedious. I'm glad I came. It gave me a great appreciation for the jury.
yeah, you were sharing that with me yesterday. You and I had dinner yesterday, and you were sharing that after seeing the process and what these jurors go through just to land on a jury and what they go through during trial. Um,
Well, you did the live with Tom and Laura, and I think for me, I um, I was watching it, and I think that was the day I had a migraine, and I was in my room and I was watching it, and my head was pounding. But the more I was listening to, I wasn't watching so much after a while, and I was listening to them, and it really just hit me how, um, you know, emotionally, what an emotionally charged issue this is, not just for our family, but for every single person that's involved in any way. And that goes out to like just people following the case, everybody. It's like this big rock is thrown in the water, and we're the big splash in the middle. And then as you go out, it's just keeps reverberating, people everywhere, you guys that cover it, and the detectives, the people that work in the courthouse, that every day we see them, the jurors. I mean, just everybody is so invested. And, I get a lot of messages about people praying for me. And I'm like, I need, I really need those, because it keeps me going and doing the traveling. And, it helps me along. But I'm thinking, Tom and Laura both said that they'd had to go to counseling, and I thought, I've had to do it myself, so it's not, like I'm not aware that that's kind of a necessary thing when you're really connected in a deep way. But it's also, something I didn't think about. I thought, gosh, here I'm going thinking, well, this is my family and my sister and my niece and got, all these things. And as I've come to love Kay and Larry and, gotten to know JJ and Ivy more through them and just, really affected by it. And then when I heard Tom and Laura talking, I'm thinking, these are people that had to go to counseling too. They've been traumatized. And so this week as I watched the jury, I was just really like, just listening to what they were saying. They have a lot of opinions, and they also, a lot of them don't know anything about the case. They haven't, and it's been a while, so it's 4.5 years. So I don't think a lot of it's fresh, even though people may have seen news headlines at that time. Some of them don't watch the news. Some of them watched a lot. Some of them watched Netflix. Some of them watched, podcasts that got brought up quite a bit this week.
Podcast people. That's our
people. And, it just really touched me in a different way. Yeah. So it was emotional for me because, yeah, I'm ready for this to wrap up and have sort of an ending to it. But this is going to be a big 8 to 10 weeks for us and for me personally, for my family, for Tammy's siblings, my other nieces and nephews, our whole extended family, Ron. It's huge, but it's going to be huge for you and Nate and all the other people that, that are really invested. I mean, the amount of time and energy and effort you guys have put in. And by the end of the trial, the amount of effort, energy, time away from their families, things they're going to hear or see, the jurors, it's a lot. And so, I think I just mostly want to say I appreciate it. It's not going to be going unnoticed. I think
right.
I was so into my feeling and my sister and Tammy that and I still will be, but I think it's opened my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And really, a lot of this case, even the Woodcocks have stated this on their TV interviews. That this case, they realize is a lot about Tammy. That Tammy, this is, and there will be more evidence about Tammy and Lori. Yeah, Lori was not there. Actually, she was in Hawaii, and I think that Tammy is going to be a greater part of this case, and this is justice for Tammy. Um, how are you handling being her representative here every day already just for jury selection?
I'm trying to be a little lighter. I know, I'm trying to come in with a little bit of a lighter heart. It's not really working for me because I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You know that about me. I'm an emotional person. I love really hard. Our whole family's like that. We do love hard. And so it's just not everybody's like that. And I know that. And it's not good, bad, or different. It's just the way we are. And so I think I'm going to make it. And I've got nieces and some of Tammy's. I'm sure Samantha will be here, but I've got other nieces coming. I've got other family coming that are going to probably be maybe a part of the trial. We just have quit talking about it in the family because I don't know who. I just told everybody, don't tell me who's got subpoenas and who doesn't. And I'm not going to talk to anybody about it, just to be on the safe side, because I don't want anybody, to that has something to say to ruin it, because you know what I mean. Because I'm always open. I always tell them, hey, call me, talk to me if you need me. I'm here. But this is one time I said, don't tell me, because I don't want them. We've talked about it enough in 4 years that we know a lot of things that haven't been maybe talked about in court yet. So it's I think there's going to be new things that come out. Obviously, it's a whole different case, and Mr. Pryor, Chad's lawyer, said that he's going to put vigorous vigorous defense. So I'm anxious to see what that is.
Yeah. There's some people are saying there are some slight audio issues, and I'm hearing it too. We are working on it, everyone. So I hope. But I think
Yeah,
for the most part, we can hear. Can you hear? Okay.
I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. Then we're
But
good.
also, what about if how about now? Is it better?
Is it better now, everybody? Say something.
Hello.
Hey, you have a beautiful singing voice, I can tell. I'll ask you a question and
What
that'll be helpful. I'm like, say something, do
my
something, jump,
phone,
dance.
yeah, my phone is in the top of a coffee maker in a hotel room with a coffee mate holding it in place. So we're fancy over here. I just am living the life here.
Okay, well, actually, I do think it sounds better. Whatever you did, whatever coffee cup you moved.
This is not good for you. No,
Yeah.
drink whatever that is. Anyway,
Somebody asked really quickly, and well, let's ask this. Somebody asked a question. They want to know how well you knew Chad, also known as Slug, but
I
sorry.
announced that, or have you
I
told people?
did. I did during my lunch life. So I went back. So after the Instacare, and I decided, look, like I'm gonna go home and take a break so that I can be ready for tomorrow and the actual trial. I was there at the end listening in, and I did a lunch live, and I did kind of throw out that, yeah. So
I didn't think you'd be able to keep that in very long. It was such a juicy thing.
I
Um,
know when I have hot tea, I just got to let our community know I can't wait too long. So.
well, this is the thing about Chad. Um, how well did I know him? That's a good question. How well did anybody know him? Um, he was part of our family for 27 years, and he's, you know, around us, he was more of a kind of reserved and quiet, and a lot of times, there were family functions he didn't come to, mission farewells and that kind of thing. Um, and then he would come, and like he was a quiet guy. I mean, I had lots of talks with him about um, books and different things because I knew that that's what his interest was, and just chatting. I knew his family really well, his dad more than his mom, but I knew his brother Matt really well. I taught him in Sunday school, and I love Matt. Uh, he's just a great guy. He's just a salt of the earth. I love him, and his wife Heather. They're sweethearts. But I knew the Daybells pretty well. I mean, they lived. His dad was in the bishopric in our ward, and my husband was also, because he was a financial clerk, and so we knew him well. I mean, as far as like Chad, and like I didn't socialize with them, but I mean, I'd go over and see the kids, and Garth was little, and yeah, they had Emma and Garth, and so yeah, I mean, like you would normally know a nephew-in-law. That's the way I knew Chad. So I think just I wasn't like hanging out with them every weekend, no. But family functions and things like that. When he came, we chatted, and I found him to be pleasant. I mean, he wasn't a barn burner, but I found him to be pleasant. I
Yeah.
mean, now when I read some of the things, and I don't know what else is going to come out. There's going to be plenty, I'm sure, but I don't know how well I know him.
I think yeah, you don't know well who did know him, and I think a good though thing to say is like you grew up in this area, you grew up with the Daybells, you grew up with the your family, and then you also knew Tylee, and you'd met Tylee even.
Oddly, I mean, my kids, they grew up for the most part in Springville, and that's getting to be a bad word with everything that's going on with different people. But and then we moved to Arizona, and so that's my daughter and her husband. They moved, and then we went down. Well, we moved, and then they came, and then they actually are the ones that were in the same ward as Charles and Lori, and that's how the connection there, because my daughter was in the primary presidency, so she knew the kids really well. And then my niece, or sorry, my granddaughter was a really good friend with Tylee, and so that's how I knew them. I had seen her at her birthday parties and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got some cute pictures of Tylee. I'd love to, be able to show people and stuff, but I just am really careful with, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And as a family, I think everybody's just decided until everything is over, we're just not going to be releasing a lot of things. I know people are dying to see pictures and stuff, but those will eventually come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some of those photos and they are beautiful. And it is just an absolute coincidence that you just happened to get to know Tylee as well. An incredible coincidence and just showing just how much this has affected your whole family.
It's insane. It's even people that know about it, that know us, that they're just like, it's just so hard to even fathom that. In what world would you know both parts to this when they live in different states? Even, you know what I mean? It's just the crazy world that we live in, and I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm sorry for this inappropriate comment, but I like the Bill saying I was calling him Chubster the Slugster. So we can move on. But thanks for joining us, Bill.
Boy, hey Bill, what's up?
And Marcella, who I have met, is saying that she'll see us Monday morning. Podcast people are the best.
Oh, okay.
This is not a question you have to answer. It's actually a question that people ask you every time. But how well? Oh no, that's not what I was going to ask you. It was Lollipop question. Are Tammy's kids keeping their distance from the family right now? Where are they drawing support from?
Her kids are close to each other, as far as I know. I think they're all adults. They all have families of their own now, and they had for the most part, families, little families when this happened. But I think that they know that we love them. They We have not stopped considering them family or loving them at all. Those are Tammy's kids. That will never change. And I don't know, because that's not something that we discuss with them. It's not something that it's not, I've tried to put myself in Tammy's space and think, if those were my kids, how would I want them treated? How would I want people to talk about them? What would I want them to say? I think I'm trying to honor that. And then on the same hand, I'm trying to also be a good, great aunt and not point the finger at them for the way that they're acting. Because unless you've walked in those shoes, I don't know how you would behave or how you would react. I think that they are doing the best with what they've been dealt. And at some point, maybe they'll come out, and maybe never. Maybe they just try to live their lives, and not really ever have to speak to it. I don't know about that, but I do keep in contact with them on social media, and I love them. And like I said, that's not going to change whether they support Chad or not. They're still family. So,
Yeah. How does it feel sitting in that courtroom with Chad Daybell?
well, that's weird. It's a little weird for me. Yeah, I think when the first day we all were walking in, and he was already set down, and he was kind of turned around watching everybody come in, and I looked at him and he looked away, and so I think he was probably, it's been a lot of years that this has been going on, so I think he was probably surprised to see me there, but I did want him to see me. I want him to know that I'm going to be there every day, and I'm going to be listening and watching. And, if they're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I'm ready to see it. But right now I've seen an awful lot of evidence, at the other trial. So we'll see.
What have you thought about John Pryor's, let me ask you this. What do you think about the jury selection? It feels like we're maybe hearing a bit of their argument with John Pryor's questioning, but what are your thoughts there?
I'm just not a pontificator, and so I don't find that to be astute. I don't
John Pryor's yeah, John Pryor is, in other words.
like. I mean, I feel like you can ask somebody something once and get a direct answer and be okay with it. But everybody has their style, and his style is to he pontificates a little bit, which is But I think he does want to put on a vigorous defense. I don't know what that is. Did you get a sense of that?
I feel like I have an idea. I've shared it on my lunch live, but yeah, I'll share it again. I think the all that glitters is not gold. His obsession with glitter. I mean, the guy, I wish if there was a drinking game for how many times John Pryor said glitter, we'd all be
Trying to be nice.
drunk. Yeah, that'd be nice. Um, but I think his all that glitter is not gold is Lori Vallow. He actually referred to the country song, which is about a deceptive woman. All that glitters is not gold. And he's so laying that foundation. And then I think that as he asks each a juror if they've ever lied and then implies that you guys have all, told white lies and you have all lied at times, everybody admits that they have not been perfectly honest in their life. I think he's setting the stage to pretty much say, look, my client lied about his affair. He lied about, Lori being an empty nester. He lied and lied and lied, but lying doesn't make him a murderer because all that glitters is gold. Thus, it's the woman's fault. That glitter, glitter, glitter she did just made him bury kids in his yard, and kill his wonderful wife of 30 years.
I agree with the fact that every man that cheats, it does not murder their wives. I agree with that 100%. I mean, that's why there's divorce. And so that's the purpose of it. And it's when people don't use legal, ways to do things that they get into trouble. So, I think he shoots himself in the foot sometimes by saying things like that. Because, yeah, he's right. Not everybody does do that. And I look at that when he says something like that, my mind goes and does something else with it because I'm trying to kind of read through the line basically and see what. Oh yeah, we know it is yeah, you're right.
Well, I actually love this. Sterling Nash is saying the quote is actually all that glisters is not gold, it's Shakespeare. The day that John Pryor quotes Shakespeare, let me know. We'll talk about it.
Well, he's talked a lot about his love of country music.
Right.
That
John
was
Pryor quotes country music lyrics. We
because
leave it to John Matthias to quote Shakespeare and Sterling.
there you go. Well, it was kind of funny because he asked him if they knew the lyrics, and I think some of them just kind of, you know, no, really. I mean, I think isn't that a pretty old song? I mean,
It is.
isn't that like back in like the '60s or something? I
It's
don't.
old.
It's old, but these jurors, some of them look pretty dang young. So,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up because now I'm curious.
Here we go. We have it right here.
Oh, you do?
1985.
Oh, Dan.
Um,
Okay. Oh,
there you go. And Troublemaker Baker is mentioning that it was also in the Shrek soundtrack. So if or there was all that glitters is not gold was a quote in the Shrek soundtrack. So he would have been a little bit more up to date had he mentioned Shrek. But
well, I
yeah,
love.
yeah.
love
A Crime to Remember says that Tammy has amazing family, still fighting for justice. Much love and prayers to all of you during this difficult time. I can't agree more. Oh yeah, it is also a Smash Mouth song. There you go. That's the Shrek soundtrack.
Oh, Smash Mouth. There you go. That's something I've heard.
Yeah. I would love for a juror to be like, "Yeah, that's a Smash Mouth song," you know? Okay. But back to this. I just yeah, that was a kind comment, a crime to remember. Thank you. They not only have you been still fighting for justice for years and years, you've been fighting for justice.
Yeah. And it's, it's like one of those things that, I asked my husband before I came up this time. I'm like, gosh, am I really making a difference by going? Should I just be like everybody and just watch it on TV and just cheer, like scream at the TV and cheer and do all that? And he's like, you would never be able to live with yourself if you did that. He goes, you have promised your sister you need to, he goes, you don't go back on promises. You have got to go. And I was like, that's so true. Hey, gosh, me and my big mouth. But I had planned on coming with my other sister, and which would have been so nice. But she just had her knee replaced like last week, so she's healing, and she's so I'm just looking forward this time to have my nieces come up and like maybe have a little bit of time with them. And we've got our little family here too, you and Laura and Kay and Larry, and we've got our little family, and we rely on each other and take care of each other, and that's okay too. But I don't think I could have. I just feel like I need to be here. And I was reading a text from my sister that she sent me last year before the last trial. And I just remember her saying, thank you. And I love you for being able to do this for me. And, I got really choked up over it because I'm glad I can still do it. It kind of gives me a little touchstone with her. So, yeah.
I'm so glad too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love seeing those ducks in the fountain
I know.
yesterday.
Those are so
They're
cute.
there for us. They're so cute.
Everybody was talking about it in the whole courthouse once you brought it up, and then I saw everybody was like, there's ducks out in the fountain out there. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Rebecca's asking a question just to get us to know Tammy a little bit more, if you have any stories about her. But she's asking what Tammy's sense of humor was like. I'm a children's librarian, and my favorite books are the cheeky ones.
Yeah. So I could see, yeah, she can enjoy that kind of thing a lot too. In fact, I don't know what her favorite books were. I mean, she loved all books, but um, she is the type of person that you could have a good laugh with. She would throw her head back and laugh, and she had a big, big smile. But could be at a baby shower or something, and somebody would say something or do something, and then you could look at her, and you could both just laugh. So it was that kind of a person where you could wait. Did you hear what I heard? And then get a good laugh out of it. So yeah, she could be fun like that, and I think she just was she was just. She was so I want to say reliable, but that's almost like not even what I mean. But she was like steady. She was like the person that um, she didn't like give up. She wasn't. She wasn't a naysayer. She was a can-do girl, and that to me, that's my favorite kind of person. Somebody that you give them a little something and they can make something out of it, or they can just say, yeah, I can do that, or yeah, it doesn't have to be like that fancy, but what about if we do this? Or like she was like that. And like I think I've told you before, she made the like 12 dresses for my daughter's wedding.
Wow.
She was making them with silk, and they were sliding all. She's called me one day. She goes, "This fabric's sliding all over the place. Like I don't know if these are gonna. They may look like clown outfits. I don't know what's gonna happen." And I said, "You know what? I'm not even going to. You do it how you want to do it. If you have to buy new fabric, that's okay. But you do the best you can do because I know it's going to be perfect when it's done." And we went over like 4 or 5 for the wedding. And she brought them out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they were gorgeous. I wish I had a picture. I'll have to get one to show because they were beautiful. And I was like, what were you worried about? She goes, oh my gosh, that this was so tough, but she wanted to do it for Julie. And
Oh.
yeah, it was just, she just did what she had to do. And I don't even know what it was because she didn't even call me back and say anything because I said, I just know you can do it. Just do the best you can. I know it'll be beautiful. And it was just fun, she was just that kind of person. It wasn't like I was over there all the time having her do stuff, but when we worked together, we had a great time. But it was like just a normal aunt niece relationship. And she was a newlywed, and then she started having kids. And at that time, I didn't have grandkids. So I would just, go over there and drop little things off for her kids and little toys and little, just, stop by and see her. And yeah. And then she had her own family. I mean, she was married, for 27 years. Like, she lived her own life. And she was just, she had a beautiful family. And so, nobody deserves to go out like that. Nobody deserves that. Nobody has the right to take that from anybody. And it's like, we were talking the other day about people that have special needs, and we're like, well, who's the person to decide whether or not they have value? Who is well, they don't communicate and they don't do this. I said, well, they still have as much value as you do because they are a member of a family that loves them. They're a person that has experiences. You don't maybe know what those are, but they are having them. So I just the whole thing, just as a whole, with Tammy, with Tylee and JJ, it was just so wrong. It was just so wrong in the way. I mean, murder is obviously always wrong, and abuse and everything else. But when you think of it as a whole thing and you are trying to make sense of it, you go down this path of nobody gets to decide when somebody leaves this world, and nobody gets to make them go out before their maker decides. And I think that's the thing that just like because I mean, she had a beautiful life. And he would have continued to have a beautiful life. Like, he have gone or, gone to her and said, hey, I want a divorce or whatever? Or, sure. Would we have all been mad? Yeah, sure. Would she have been brokenhearted? Absolutely. But she would have lived through it. We would have been there for her.
Yeah.
And
A lot of people just want you to go ahead.
no, go ahead.
People are saying that your smile is a lot like Tammy, and you both have a beautiful smile. Other people are saying that, you're making her come alive in a way that they hadn't heard, and that if she's anything like you, they absolutely realize what a wonderful woman she is.
We
So
have,
so thank you.
we have big teeth in our family. That's why my smile. That's why we all have big teeth. So we're like the Osmonds.
Holly asks, and this is something I know this is kind of going back a little bit, and it might be too much for you right now, but were you surprised when Chad was a suspect as well as Lori? Can you help us understand how you learned about it, about what was going on? Because it wasn't so clear cut like it was for the media, you know.
Well, I think I talked about this before. When Before anything was done, with before I knew about the kids or Lori or anything, I knew that Tammy was not sick. And so I was suspicious from the very moment that it happened, because I was like, well, somebody like 49-year-old or 48 year, you just
We just lost you for a
sleep and
second.
don't wake
Sorry.
up again. Like, that's not a normal thing for somebody that doesn't have any health issues. Um, yeah, could it happen? I guess, but you would know that if you got an autopsy. And so the fact that there was no autopsy done, and she was a young woman, I just, yeah, I just, yeah, it made me suspicious, and my whole family was, um, I think a lot of our family, in fact, we just talked about it, and we were upset that there was no autopsy. And so from then on, for the next couple of weeks, there was a lot of talking about it. And then I think we were, they Phyllis and Ron always treated him like a son. So I don't know if they were suspicious or not. They knew that she wasn't sick, but I never had that conversation with Phyllis, because she was heartbroken that when she found out that it was Chad. She felt, it was like having your own kid do something like that. And um, I mean, I think everybody was heartbroken in their own way, but I was, me personally, and I think I told you, I am like kind of a suspicious person anyway. Not suspicious, but I I'm careful with who I share my life with. And now I'm like really bad. I mean, and I think we talked about this. I have a phobia of like different things now that I never used to. And but yeah, the answer to the question is, did I think there was something up from the beginning? Yes. And when of course we found out about Lori, yeah, that was, sorry, I have to keep going like that. People keep texting me. I think that once they realized that he married Lori, everybody was just taken aback, and that's not normal behavior.
Well, and especially like
So
Julie, like your
I
daughter
can't hear you.
Julie.
Can you hear
Oh, you can't hear me? Hello, hello. Can
Here
anybody
we
hear me,
go.
or is it just Vicky? Vicky makes fun of how many times my mic. Can you guys hear me? No? Let's see. We're gonna find out.
Didn't we have, is it minute 37?
Hello, hello. It says it's
Oh my
working.
gosh.
They can hear me. Everybody can hear me.
I cannot hear you. I don't know what you're
So,
saying. I don't know if you can hear me.
so I'm gonna
Can you hear
remove
me?
her, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now, how about now? Can you hear me now? No?
No.
Well, you guys can hear me, but something happened to Vicky's sound. She was making fun of me yesterday for all my sound issues. So that's why she's laughing. But I don't even know how to,
I
I think
guess
this
we
is on
can
her end.
not talk anymore.
Let's
I don't know
see.
how to do anything with my phone.
And it is her phone. It might be her phone, everyone, because people are texting her. So, but so while here, we'll just remove her for a second. We'll remove her for a second, but while she is fixing that, I just want to let you know, check if she muted herself. Let me text her. Get your phone. Get your phone. I'm going to text you.
You're going to call me? Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'll just text
This
you.
is Vicki. Hello? Can you hear me? I still can't hear you. This is so dumb. Okay, Mike, we can hear you and they can hear you. Okay. Oh, shucks. No, I didn't touch my, I literally didn't do anything. Let me see. More common settings. Okay. Audio. It shows my audio's on. I just can't hear you. Oh, I can
Well,
hear you.
oh, you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you do
Well,
something? There was 2 minutes of unbelievable podcasting right there.
I'm gonna put that whole thing in. Rebecca says, "We are such middle-aged ladies. My teen girls are laughing at us." Oh,
I don't blame them. They should be laughing. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Okay.
well, tell your teen girls I'll hire them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All
Well,
right.
I don't learn anything about like this stuff. I don't know how to do any of this. Every time call IT, I'm rolling in the Oh, so you should do that every minute 37, every 37. Did you see where the time was? It was at minute 37.
Vicky Vicky makes fun of me that she says it happened. I'm always like, minute 37, or you're making fun of John.
I was making fun of
Go
both
to
of you.
it.
Minute 37, and you're like, and he's like, and then you're like, well, I can hear you now. And he's like, okay.
And I was just telling her that we do have a bunch of great new equipment too that we're gonna try to set up, but that's we don't know how to set up. We're having a hard time.
I don't think you should be.
We need IT. We need IT.
Yeah, you
We
do.
are we are good at a lot of things, guys, John and I, but not um
What are
tech. Okay.
the guys
So
called from, what is that company? They're like the nerd guys or whatever. I don't know. It's like from
we do need some nerd guys. Nerd guys to the rescue.
the good guys. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, it's good to laugh during this time. It's good. And I love sitting behind Vicky. I can't sit next to you because I'm considered media, so I just sit behind her. And it's so good because it is so heavy, but I'm so grateful to have someone I can laugh with during this too. You have
yeah,
been so wonderful understanding the need for laughter sometimes when it, you know, uh,
you cannot not.
portals are funny.
Yeah,
So portals.
it's like it. You could literally let something like this kill you. You could just roll up and and you just can't do that. You just have to keep the memories alive, and you just have to get through it and just know that sometimes, like I said before, sometimes we laugh till we cry, and sometimes we cry until we laugh, and we do all of that. We still are people, and the fact that we lost somebody that we love deeply, and who would not have that in their life, even to lose it. So
Well said.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone, Gems, for being here. This is such an incredible community and has been such an incredible community to so many of the surviving victims. And John and I are touched and honored. There's a reason we call you our hidden gems. We can't believe what has come out of this community with all of you. So thank you. And thank you, Aunt Vicky, for trusting us. For those of you that are following the trial, just know that I will be there. It starts earlier tomorrow. They warned everyone in the courtroom. Vicky let me know that it starts earlier and we have to be there earlier. So be ready for the live stream here at Hidden True Crime. I want you guys to know that last year I was often on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. And this year I'm more so now in the chat while the live stream is going. I want to be there with all of you. So that's where I am. So come join us in our daily live stream of the trial. And then, of course, I'll be doing my lunch lives as well. I am getting. Oh, go ahead. What, Vicky? Sorry.
You're all over the place. You're running around, and I'm like, aren't you going to eat anything? She's like, oh, I got to go do my live. I'm like, oh gosh, girl, you just never take a beat. You need to take a beat once in a while. Your gyms want you to take a beat once in a while.
Well, I did today. I did today for certain. For certain, I did, and that was why I was like, I need rest for when we get this trial going, which could possibly be tomorrow. So,
They need to
I
30 so that they catch you're ramping up, because if they start at 8:30, by 9 o'clock or they could be doing their print of, you know, the sorting out. I don't even know how many they have, by the way. But they have to end up with,
They need 18 total, 18 total in the end, and so they'll both strike. They'll both strike people they don't want. So Pryor will strike people that he doesn't want the state to have, and the state will strike people jurors was what I mean that they don't want Pryor to have, and then whoever's left will be on the juror.
I think they just literally pull numbers out of a hat, if I'm not mistaken. And the first 12 are the jury, and then they have the 6 alternates.
That happens, but not until the end. So all of the 18 jurors believe that they could be a possible deliberating juror. Yeah. They do
Okay.
that on purpose too, so that they all understand the serious nature, because if one thinks they're an alternate, they might not be as involved. So all 18 are
Okay.
jurors until the very end, and then it is drawn out of a hat.
Okay, so that makes sense because I was like, why are these people sitting up there? But I was like so involved with other stuff that I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, oh, okay, I'll be the alternates, but I didn't know that they were actually, they're all jurors until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people are asking if I'm going home this weekend. I am not this weekend, and I will be live at Hidden Hour with a very special guest. I'll be sharing more later. We're preparing it. I think it's going to be a show that people have been wanting for about 4 years. I'll just say that to talk about some really important aspects of this case. So stay tuned for Hidden Hour. But yeah, so tomorrow is going to be a big day, and you're right. But I have ordered, I want everyone to know, because everyone's like, you got to eat more. And I've upgraded from beef sticks. I have ordered from Amazon a bunch of tuna salad in little cans with crackers, and they're coming, I think, tomorrow. So I'll be ready.
But there's not going to be any more poor girl charcuteries.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if tuna fish, I think tuna fish is an upgrade, but tuna and crackers.
You're going to be having sushi for lunch.
Yes, and then I'm getting some grapes and some oranges, and so I will be prepared to take care of myself. So, and I hope you are too, Vicky. You
Oh,
are too.
I'm fine. Trust me.
Okay. Well,
I had a Starbucks today and I was like so happy. It's the first time I've had one in a long, long time.
good. Well, good. And we had a nice dinner last night with our friend Laura. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say? Desperation charcuterie.
That is so true. I just want to thank everybody. I can't see the comments in the chat when I'm on here, but again, I just know that we just, can feel your prayers and we feel the positive energy from people, and just like hang in there with us, because I know that people that are invested in this, it means something to them. And because it means something to them, it means something to me. And, we just, we want you to love Tammy. And that's it. She was lovable.
She was, and so are you. So thank you
You
for
too.
sharing her with us. All right. We'll see you, Vicky. Thank you so much for doing this with ours. Okay.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.